What is up, CW26 Chicago and Supergirl fans everywhere? Got a special treat for you. I got Azie Tesfai, Kelly Olsen on CW Supergirl. Got that season finale coming up on Sunday, and we're going to talk about that, talk about life in general, and so much more. Azie, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Are you holding up okay during all this sheltering in place?
Yes, I think I'm fortunate that I have a safe home to be in. But it's a roller coaster, you know. Like 1 minute you feel really good, and the next minute you're crying and eating a whole tub of cookies. So I think I'm just trying to go with the ride of the whole experience.
A tub of cookies. Oh my. So has there been a moment yet where you've been in quarantine and where you're kind of like, okay, I've been in the house too long?
You know what? We had an earthquake in LA a couple of weeks ago, and it was at like 9-10 at night, and I was like, that's it. Like, this is already too much as it is. We don't need earthquakes on top of quarantine. And also, what do? We're supposed to stay at home. Do you run outside? Do you stay inside? Like, we weren't prepared for quarantine and earthquake rules, I guess. So that was definitely I've had enough moment, but it's for safety and for the health of everyone. So definitely.
How are you keeping yourself occupied?
I've started to cook, which has been an adventure. I came to Vancouver with my mom to take care of her because she's a senior, and so she's high risk, and so I've been doing the grocery deliveries and wiping everything down and trying to keep her safe. So she has also been the recipient of my cooking experiments, which has been interesting. But I think they're going well. I've been sharing them on Instagram. People seem to be, trying them and into it. So far, so good. No one has gotten sick.
What's your favorite thing to cook?
I made these Australian sausage rolls that were so good, and apparently are a very common thing that I didn't know existed, but it just proves the point that if you wrap a pastry around anything, it's delicious.
Truth. Yeah. I tried getting some of those Grand's croissants from the grocery store, wrap some ham and Swiss in there.
You're pretty much a chef if you wrap pastry around anything.
Just kiss. Yeah, put a little parsley on there, so I had some green on it. I felt like I was on Chopped. It was great.
That's my favorite show. Chopped.
I love Chopped. I could watch Chopped for days.
I started watching it when I was in college because we always had random ingredients in our kitchen, and so I tried to pretend like I was on Chopped. Like, I have mayonnaise, an egg, and like a hot dog. Like, what meal can I make?
Right. Yeah, I'll sit there and watch it and be like, okay, well, if they reduce the vanilla pudding into a sauce, then they saute the ham.
I'd pause it and then say what I would make and then play.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that always thinks in Chopped terms.
Me too, yeah.
Well, you're living the dream of so many people being in this DC world of superheroes and super action. How's that experience been for you?
It's so cool. I mean, I think as an adult, to be able to do things like go to work and watch people fly and do green screen stunts and see villains, and we shoot in Vancouver, and sometimes we take over whole parts of downtown, and you have all these background extras running and screaming, and there's people flying, and you're like, this is the coolest job ever. So you get to do some really cool things. The stunts, the costume, just kind of being in that universe is just pretty awesome. What a show! I can see it now in the comments from our CW26 page. Lots of fans, lots of people excited to see you. Loving the dynamic of your character and Alex. Why do you think people connect with this show so much? I think it's about hope. At the end of the day, no matter kind of what crazy scenarios are thrown at us, that hope will always win. And I think we're in a time right now where people really feel like they need to believe that. And I find it really inspiring. I think particularly on our show, we're a kind of a female-led and run show, and that's really inspiring to see women in a position of power and kicking ass and being soft and strong and all the complexities that it takes to be a woman. I think that is so incredibly inspiring. And I think it's hope, and if you have a good heart and fight for what's good, you'll prevail. And I find that constantly inspiring as a reminder being on the show.
Yeah, that's a big theme of the show is hope. I think part of the whole Superman and Supergirl ethos is that great theme, and that's why those characters have been able to, last for so long and continue to entertain us. We see Sean Astin come back as your old Army partner, Pete. He's in the show earlier, kind of a bit of a bad guy, kind of taking over. But he didn't come back as a villain this time around. Sean Astin, great guy, Stranger Things, Rudy, all that. What's it like working with him?
He's the best, man. He actually texted me yesterday or the day before, just checking in on my family. Like, he's like the nicest. He's the nicest guy. I had so much fun. We shot almost all of his scenes in his first episode in one day. So I think we had like 10 or 11 scenes that we shot in one day. And he is so committed to doing the best work, and he cares so much. And he is such a great father, and his daughter's favorite show was Supergirl. So he has seen every episode, and it was important to him to kind of make his daughter proud, which I thought was just so sweet. And I find him so inspiring, and he's just, I feel so lucky that I got to know him and hang out with him while he was in Vancouver. And even now, he still checks in with me and is so kind. And yeah, he's amazing. And he's a really great actor. And he's a legend,
100%. Yeah, it's got to be cool to work with somebody like that. Okay, the comments and questions are rolling in from people. So I'm going to ask you a few of them, or try to form some questions from what they're typing here. A lot of people talking about Kelly and Alex and their relationship. It definitely is one of the most refreshing on TV. I think it's beautiful to see. What's your favorite thing about their dynamic and your dynamic with your co-star, Kyler?
They're so healthy. The way they communicate and the way that they are there for each other is inspiring. And Kyler is just like a dream person to work with. She's not only like one of the most incredible actresses that I think are on television, and I find her to be incredibly underrated, even though she gets a lot of love. She's so talented. So there's so many times they work opposite her, and I remember why I love acting, because she's so good, and I get to go on the ride with her. But also she cares so much about Kelly and Alex and representation, and will rewrite scenes, will call me to talk about things. Work opposite someone that cares that much, it makes the work really exciting. We talk about most of our scenes before we shoot them, and we go over notes, and I don't know if I've ever had that kind of work experience, and I hope that the fans know that we care so incredibly much about the relationship of these two characters, and we're really vocal, and we fight for a lot of things that we feel are right, and I just feel really lucky to be on the journey with her. And then I find, Alex and Kelly really inspiring again. There's not a lot of times where you see any love relationships that are just healthy on TV, because some people can find that really boring. And I understand that, but I think it's important to show that. I think it's important to show two women in a healthy relationship. I think it's important to show an interracial couple in a healthy relationship. I think a lot of people that watch the show may not be exposed to that, and for them to see it in such a good, healthy light is really important. And I feel really lucky that we get to do that. Yeah,
it's a beautiful relationship. I think obviously two actresses together, you guys bring the best to it, and it's really awesome to see. One of the things we're seeing with Alex, we've seen her kind of take on this thought of being a vigilante, and your character and her had a discussion about her really stepping more into that. Are we going to see her suit up? And if so, what's that costume like? Have you seen it yet?
I have. I don't know if listen. What day is it today? It's Friday.
Today's Friday.
Most quarantine thing. The finale is in 2 days. So I think I mean, someone might freak out, but we not only we will see it, we will see it in the finale. Ooh. And it is incredible. And I think Azie, had a very similar reaction to Kelly when seeing it. So I think the scene in which you will see it in the finale on Sunday was my maybe favorite scene to shoot. It was really cool. It was just Kyler and I. And it was one of those days at work where Kai and I kept looking at each other and we're like, our job is so cool. So I'm excited I know the fans are going to freak out when they see that scene. So I'm excited.
All right, I got a really interesting question here from Annalise on the Facebook here. She's asking, are we going to see Kelly suit up at all, sort of like her brother, get into that vigilante life?
You know, I can't say anything.
Okay. I'll ask you this then. Let me restructure the question. Yeah. If Kelly were to step into that vigilante life, what do you want the costume to be like? What's the ideal costume you want to be sporting?
I would like I'm a big fan of kind of Kyler's like her fighting, badass, all black fitted. I've talked to her a lot about her, costumes, or even her when we did the virtual Supergirl. She's really great at navigating her, all of her super fitting costumes. So probably something similar to what Kai's done. I think something form-fitting and comfortable. I'm not super complicated. Something very comfortable. That's my priority. I'm like, I'd like to be able to breathe. I see Nicole, and it's complicated, those super suits.
Yeah.
Complicated. Lunchtime is complicated. I think a functional kind of getup would be nice. And I think Kyler has figured out all the kind of tricks. So yeah, lots of zippers,
Definitely. I had a chance to be on the set for some of these CW Arrowverse shows, and the most hilarious part is lunchtime. People in their costumes just sitting down. Yeah.
It's a mess. And then you're just like, after lunch, it's so funny because Nicole comes into my trailer. Nicole's in my trailer. I'll walk in my trailer and she's like, hey girl, and she's already in there with her lunch. So it's fun. I love her so much, and it's so funny to see her regret the minute she like finishes her massive meal and her cookies and all. Like, she's immediately like, this was a bad idea. The suit's really tight. Now I have to go fight. So I think more, I don't know, there's like an expand button, like something like that.
Yeah.
And a zipper could be cool, where you know how luggage, when you fill it up too much, you can do the zipper around it and it like expands. I'd like that.
That could be cool. A good question here from a viewer. They're asking, what was your favorite moment or episode of season 5?
My favorite scene to shoot emotionally was the scene where Alex kind of comes to Kelly at her office and tells her that she is like there for her after all of these kind of triggers and traumas came up. Shooting that scene with Kyler was like one of the best acting experience I've ever had. And we had kind of we shot that scene at the end of our episodes, and we overlap. So the last couple of days of our episodes, we've already started the next one. So it's always like crews everywhere and people are scattered, and there was a lot going on that day. And I just remember shooting that scene with Kai, and we were so locked into each other that it was like I totally forgot that there were other people around. And we were doing coverage, and I remember the director was like, you guys can save it, because we were emotional. And it wasn't even acting. Like, she was doing her scene and I had tears streaming down my face off camera. I was so moved by her acting. And I really, as Azie, felt like, this person is solid and is there for me and isn't going anywhere. And we shot that scene, and we kind of just afterwards were super emotional and hugged, and it was one of the best kind of acting experience I've had. So for sure, that scene where Alex comes to Kelly's office to tell her that she's got her back even through all her pain and trauma. I thought it was so beautiful.
That is beautiful indeed. The season finale looks like it's going to be a big one. Okay, we see Lex Luthor scheming as usual. Leviathan in the picture. Ramacon up and got like he's out of there. Destroy the DEO. The season finale. Describe it for us. What can we expect?
It's epic. I mean, epic. It's interesting because, to be honest, like we this wasn't supposed to be our finale. We had one more episode left to shoot, and COVID happened, and actually there were some scenes that I still had left to shoot in this episode. Luckily, they were able to put it together, but timing with everything, we couldn't get it done. But it's kind of incredible that for what was originally going to be the second to last episode, it is so big. So everyone will get kind of all of the excitement and action, and there's like some memorable scenes that I know will go viral and will be really exciting. But you will also get a lot of questions that are presented answered, because we are going to still shoot that episode when we go back, which is really exciting. And then, David directed it, so the acting is really good, because he's really great at making sure that the acting's on point when he's behind the monitor. And there is some cool stunts. Maybe I could tease. I think I mentioned once before that there was a Cirque du Soleil stunt person that came in to shoot a scene, and that will be in the finale. And it was the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Really?
I was like, we're really stepping it up right now. This is wild. So I think, yeah.
That's pretty awesome. But it's also got to be kind of a bummer to have production halted through COVID-19 too, because like all that momentum, and you're like, I gotta stay at home on the couch.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm glad that we got as far as we did. I'm glad that they were kind of able to save this episode and put it together and get it out. It's tricky, we shoot in Canada, so it's also a different country, and people are away from their families. We share a soundstage with Riverdale, so that there's kind of the shared responsibility there to make sure everybody's safe. It's hard. It's, our crew is like, we're like a family, and so I think you just don't want anyone to get sick, and you don't want anyone to kind of go back to their families with anything given this time. So I feel really excited, because we're still going to get to tell all the things we wanted to tell. It's just a little bit delayed, but I think that this will make people back, and I've kind of heard what they have planned for the future, and I think they're really like giving everyone love for the quarantine blues when we come back.
Oh, I cannot wait for that. Good question here from the fans. What is an Arrowverse character you would love to meet?
Like as Kelly or as Azie?
That's a great question. How about as both?
Okay. I mean, I feel like this is such an easy. Iris, because I love Candace. Candace is like my sister. So,
yeah.
I would hope that one day we both do that. We get to have a scene together. But yeah, just to get to work with Candace would be so much fun. I love her so much. So,
yeah.
And she's like, Iris is groundbreaking, and what she represents is so groundbreaking. So I think it would be really cool to have Kelly being one of kind of the later additions in this world, and the OG kind of have a meeting in the DC world. So. Yeah.
That'd be really cool. You two are two great actresses. It's bound to happen. Going to be some major crossover. Yeah, it's going to happen at some point. Transitioning a little bit. So you played Nadine on Jane the Virgin. You had like the detective villain kind of role going on. Now that the show is over, what are some memories you take away from that?
From Jane? Oh man, I mean that was the coolest experience, coming into a show from the pickup. I came in on episode 2, and then going on this ride where it kind of became, we really didn't know anything of what was going to happen. There was zero expectation. And I think by episode 8 airing, the cast was nominated for Golden Globe. Gina had won People's Choice Awards, Peabody Awards. It was kind of an overwhelming experience. And I think that the group of people, we're just like forever bonded. We went through something together for the first time, and really kind of clung to each other. I also just like every single person on that show has such a charitable heart and is like is from such a position of service. We were all also older when we got the job. We weren't like 19, so we'd all been acting for 10 years and knew how special and how grateful and lucky we were. So the set it just had a different vibe. It was very much every single day people were grateful. And I don't know. I've never had an experience where I've had so many people that I'm really close to. I still, I talked to Yael the other day. Brett texted me the other day. Justin and his wife are really close friends of mine. I mean, we're all, it's amazing. I saw Diane Guerrero at Comic-Con and we were screaming down the hall and jumped in each other's arms and people were like, oh, those Jane the Virgin girls. Like we're a family. We went through a crazy experience together and it brought us. And the writing was the best writing I likely will ever get. Jenny Erman is a genius, and I don't use that lightly. She is so smart in the way that she crafts each script, and she's so meticulous. And it made acting on that show very easy because the writing was so good. So
yeah, it was a great show. I'm sure everyone that was there for the ride really enjoyed it as well. There's so much I want to get to. We don't have a lot of time here. I want to ask you about this thing you've been doing with your fans. You've been texting fans. That's something you see from a lot of public figures.
Yeah, so I know. I don't need another social media platform, but quarantine's been really rough. And I think, if I could bring any joy, I thought this was maybe a way to do it, and is to connect one-on-one. Speaking of Jane the Virgin, I saw Justin Baldoni was doing lives with fans and how much it was kind of brightening their nights, because I feel like, at night is the time when you tend to feel most depressed or most sad or low. So I thought I'm trying every night to text back like 40 to 50 people, and the answer is through an app called Community. So it's really me, and I see all the messages, and I'm really moved, and it honestly makes me feel better to connect to everyone, and people are so sweet and so beautiful, and if I can share anything that I've learned or make them happy, especially I've had high school and college graduates that aren't able to walk right now, and so if I can send them a little message or chat with them, it's felt great,
That's really awesome, and it just shows how big of a heart you have to do something like that. I don't know if I would be doing something like that, but it's really cool that you are. Azie, thank you so much for spending time with us, spending time with the fans here in Chicago and around the world, and not wait to see what you guys cook up for the season finale.
I can't wait for you guys to see it, and stay safe, please. Stay safe.
Definitely. All right, Supergirl season finale. It's going down Sunday, 8 p.m. on CW26. And for people not in Chicago, that's 9 p.m. Eastern time as well.